I call the Honourable Shane Jones. Tēnā koe.
Kia ora no tātou. Greetings, Mr Speaker. Well, today we saw the budget that really has to be called the TUI budget. Yeah, right. Because it is so far right that there's no way that this side of the House is going to shrink from fighting an election on, number one, the wholesale privatisation and sell-off of our assets. Now, sir, those assets, they're not starved of capital. Sir, those assets, they're well run, and we are going to lose, sir, the valuable revenue and the valuable dividends. And worse still, sir, the Māori Party will be there as, sir, active and consistent helpers to watch the dilution and the liquidation of those historical assets of the Crown Estate. Sir, the Prime Minister gave up and delivered one of his trademark Eurotrash contributions. A man who's learnt his oratory and learnt his life skills as he wandered around amongst the super rich of the world. No compassion, no empathy, sir, and no understanding that if I am to go to the whip, sir, of the other side of the House, to use his figures, 75,000 of those workers, Kiwis, etc., earning less than $45,000. Sir, not a single level or sliver of empathy from the Prime Minister to them. And then, sir, he's got the cheek to tell New Zealanders, as I put these assets on the block, you will be the beneficiaries. Sir, how many of those people are actually going to be in a position to purchase those shares? Watch the inexorable slide, sir, towards further ownership of such key monopoly assets, etc. Sir, not only is he presiding over the sell-off of those assets, sir, he's based everything on a heroic assumption that he can trust Treasury's figures. Well, sir, we trust what the IRD had to say, as the Dominion in page 1 showed us yesterday. Sir, those figures will not let us down as they didn't yesterday, neither will they let us down in the future. So, sir, the Treasury heroic assumptions concocted when, unfortunately, aggressive politics meets sterile analysis. And, sir, those heroic assumptions are all that, sir, the writ of the Prime Minister's vision for the future are written on. So let's just think about what he's telling Kiwis through his TUI brewery budget. Number one, everything's for sale. Number two, I want you to save, but I'm not actually going to incentivise or help you because savings was a Labour legacy. Muldoon destroyed the first savings initiative, Jenny Shipley destroyed the second savings initiative, and John Key and Bill English, as a consequence of their narrow partisanship against the legacy of Dr Cullen and the Labour Party, are continuing to tinker and unravel the savings legacy that was put in place by us, sir. So the man says, sir, to Kiwis, we want savings. We want to reduce the country's reliance on overseas sources of capital, and uses this budget to further undermine and gut Kiwi saver. So these are great issues upon which to fight the election. And, sir, at least we didn't hear simpering from the Prime Minister, which we've heard from the Māori Party. He said, Phil Goff, meet you in the halls, in the hustings, we'll fight the election on those issues. We can't wait for it, sir. OK, sir. So we hear a little bit from the Māori Party, which is a brief improvement on the simpering contributions that we've endured over the last couple of days. I got news for them, sir. The loving is over. The loving is over, sir. As the low tide reveals how unpopular and irrelevant the Māori members on that side of the House have become, they have been able, sir, to secure nothing else but then what we might say konga, crumbs. Sir, a simple reprioritisation where Peter pays Paul, or as we might say, a nick and tuck contribution for the Māori Party. A nick and tuck contribution. Their, sir, legacy is to be the nick and tuck. The assets of hard-working Kiwis, politically speaking, are about to be nicked, and the Māori Party is tucked up. So they don't care that ordinary hard-working Kiwis, or should I say garden-variety Kiwis, are going to be worse off as a consequence of this asset sell-off. No. So they're focused on constitutional reform, while their own people, and Tāmaki Makaurau and Tai Tokerau, sir, which they are definitely going to lose, sir, well, they've already lost it anyway as a consequence of poor management with Hone Harawira. But, sir, without a doubt, the importance of jobs, decent income, provision of housing, sir, why have our colleagues on that side of the House whether they're the Māori and the discredited National Party or the ebbing Māori Party, sir, why have they forgotten about those core issues? Why are they running around talking about flags and now a constitutional review, which, sir, as a consequence of their mean-spiritedness, they did not invite this side of the House to contribute to? How can you, sir, with any sliver, with any measure, sir, of sincerity, say you want to change the Constitution of New Zealand and then wander off and get Wiremu Pākehā Bill English as your handmaiden and think you're going to do it on behalf of all the iwi? Sir, their views about constitutional review will be revealed in November the 26th, and they will be in the form of a UB40, i.e. an application for unemployment bill. That, sir, is likely to disappear as a consequence of this very parsimonious approach, sir, that we've seen evidence today in Bill English's speech. But, sir, I really need to come back to some of the... sir, in order for the members on the other side of the House to fully understand what sort of electoral debate we're about to have. Where's all the contributions about cutting red tape? Not one single initiative. Not one single initiative. Rodney Hyde, off he goes. Don Brash comes in, ceding to those, sir, villains, the opportunity to cut red tape. Where's the supposed business-friendly party delivering opportunities for growth to small to medium-sized businesses? Somewhere near zero. So, sir, for a party that vaunts itself and promotes itself as being, sir, a great friend of the world of business, no, sir. Destruction of savings, sell out at knockoff prices of SOEs, sir. Absolutely, sir. No plan in terms of long-term growth of the key pastoral sector. What have we seen, sir? Ongoing further corporate welfare. Ongoing corporate welfare. Now, sir, we realise that the Māori Party actually haven't learnt all the acronyms, along with Sir Stephen Joyce not actually understanding what the man is doing in terms of the damage to the taxpayers as a consequence of his broadband. No, sir. No plan. In fact, the man boasts, sir, about infrastructure. Well, the only infrastructure we're going to see there is a new subsidy that the taxpayer is going to write out, sir, as this much-vaunted infrastructure plan sinks out of sight. And, sir, because the man won't back down, and because, sir, this shows how ill-conceived the plan was, he was outsmarted by Rahui Kātini. So if there's any evidence, sir, that this is not a plan to take our country forward, there it lies. There it lies, sir. Now, sir, I'm sorry, sir. Please explain to the Māoris there's 2 more minutes of this wisdom, of this very judicious contribution, sir. Let me, sir, now talk also about Mr. Stephen Joyce and his contributions via this discredited script, otherwise known as the budget. Why, sir, is he stinging Aucklanders with a $500 million bill for, sir, a transportation system that the Super City Mayor has a mandate for? So not only, sir, have they alienated savers, have they disappointed the business community, sir, and have they shown an absolute barrenness of empathy, sir, of compassion through the Eurotrash contribution of the Prime Minister today and what ought to be a Prime Ministerial speech. They are now sticking it to Aucklanders. Well, sir, Aucklanders don't want Stephen Joyce to continue in this supercilious manner. They don't want that, sir. They're waiting for the opportunity to show him the exit. But, sir, that will be a crowded exit, because as he moves to that door, Te Ururō level, Tariana Turia, Rahui Kātene, and indeed, sir, Dr. Peter Sharples will be singing, "Now is the hour." Kia ora tātou.
Point of order. The Honourable Member Chester Burrows.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I wish to seek a clarification in respect of language in the House. I was watching the debate earlier when the Honourable Clayton Cosgrove was speaking, and I heard him say, I believe I heard him say, refer to a member on this side of the House as sooty.
Right. The member will be seated. The member will be seated. Points of order have to be raised at the time. You can't come down and do it later on.
Speaker.
I call the honourable member Paul Hutchison.